Good day, folks. Thank you for joining us here at Your Health. On today's program, we want to talk about vitamin B12. Have you lost your spunk? Are you tired day in, day out, and rest doesn't seem to help very much? It could be B12. Today's program, we want to talk about the health benefits of B12 and perhaps even more importantly, what happens to us over time when we're low in B12. Some of the damage is irreparable, so we want to get to this problem quickly. Increasing public awareness of B12 deficiency is very important, and I want you to be a part of that today, so stay tuned for that. First, let's go to our news. Let's see what's happening in the health world. Most children do not meet what researchers from the American Heart Association have defined as ideal cardiovascular health. The researchers use health statistics from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey to find the vast majority of U.S. children engage in behaviors that will increase cardiovascular disease later in life. Fully 91% of the children evaluated consumed a poor diet where sugary desserts and sweet drinks provide most of their daily calories. Also, most children do not exercise enough. Up to 80% of all male teens and 90% of all girl teens do not get the recommended 1 hour of daily vigorous exercise. Grade school children fare a little better, but not much, where half of boys and 2/3 of girls do not exercise. Folks, this is a real problem. The vast majority of children are born with ideal or near ideal cardiovascular systems that are highly resistant to disease, but all of that changes with the insults of life and the development of poor lifestyle practices. In the past, the insults began in early adulthood. Now, they are beginning in childhood, and the experts are concerned that the young people of today will be burdened with extraordinarily high vascular disease levels in adulthood, and simply taking a pill to lower cholesterol will not fix this problem. The experts report there are 6 key factors and behaviors that all children should show. They are not using tobacco of any type, maintaining ideal or near ideal weight, engaging in 60 minutes of moderate to vigorous exercise every day, eating a healthy low-sugar diet, and maintaining healthy cholesterol and blood glucose levels. If children do these simple things, it greatly reduces the risk of cardiovascular disease later in life. But that is not what is happening with our children. 90% have a poor diet with way too much sugar. Up to 90% do not get enough exercise. From 10 to 30% are obese, and far too many have elevated blood pressure and blood glucose levels. Parents, this is our fault and nobody else's, and only parents can fix this problem. I can think of no greater gift a parent can give a child than the knowledge of how to live a healthy, long life. Food commercials affect children's food choices. Researchers from the University of Kansas Medical Center used MRI scans to evaluate 23 children's response to being shown 60 different food items. They found overall, children make food choices primarily based on taste and not healthfulness. However, after being shown food commercials, children overwhelmingly choose foods based solely on taste. Well, folks, this is one of the reasons why the vast majority of American children are showing the early signs that they will have cardiovascular disease later in life. Television food commercials have a profound effect on children's food choices. And the typical child sees some 1,500 food commercials a year on TV. This study was published by the Journal of Pediatrics. It's the first one to use functional magnetic resonance imaging scans in order to see, first, how a child's brain reacts to a variety of foods, and then second, how their brains react to foods after they have viewed television food commercials. And what they determined is what America's food manufacturers have known for over 60 years. Advertising junk food to kids makes children want to eat junk food, plain and simple. And that is why companies spend some $2 billion a year advertising to kids, a market segment that has no money to buy junk food. But they do have a lot of influence on parents, don't they? And they're the ones who have the money. Now, I'm not advocating outlawing food commercials. I'm advocating that parents should teach their children the basic of nutrition. Parents, your influence is far more effective than any TV ad will ever be. Replacing just one serving of a sugary drink with water could lead to improved health. Researchers from the University of Virginia used data on sugar consumption from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. They found regardless of how many servings of sweet drinks you may consume in a day, reducing that number by just one provides health benefits. A reduction of 1 serving of a sweet drink reduces the percentage of calories from sugar in a typical American's diet by about 17%. The study was published by the journal Nutrients. Here we have a simple and practical health tip that can really make a difference. Reduce the number of 8-ounce servings of sweet drinks such as soda or sweet fruit punch by just 1 serving a day. This will reduce your calories from sugar by about 17%, and that's enough over time to lose weight and improve your overall health. This, of course, would also hold true for our children, whom the majority of which are headed for health troubles down the road, as we learned from our first study in today's news. Folks, over the course of medical school and practicing medicine and preparing for this program, I have learned a thing or two, and what strikes me is the vast majority of our health problems are brought on by what we do on a daily basis, not by our genetics. Although genes do play a role in our suffering and disease, it's our lifestyle, diet, and exercise choices that turn on these disease-causing genes. The good news is that there is power in this knowledge. You have what you need to better assure a healthy future for you and your family. It's worth the effort to eat organic whenever possible. It's worth the effort to exercise, and it's definitely worth the effort to learn a little more about nature's healing gifts of vitamins, minerals, and herbs. But it's up to you, because no one advertises the benefits of living healthy. True. Today on Your Health, we'll discuss the essential vitamin B12. Have you lost your spunk and get up and go? Well, B12 could be the answer. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You may have heard the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's true. I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
And I'm Cindy Becker. Autumn is a time of transition. It's the perfect time to renew your dedication to healthy living. This September, we're excited to bring you our fall savings celebration here at Bioinnovations.
Perhaps you've heard about the health benefits of supplements. In many cases, they can make a big difference.
During September, Dr. Becker's Bionutrients are up to 40% off. Noni Natural Skincare and Spa Therapy are 40% off. And Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still 50% off by the case. And you get free shipping with orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
This is a good time to restart a program of nutrition, exercise, and supplements, because an ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure.
Order online or call 888-442-2128 and let Bioinnovations assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the auto-ship program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Richard Becker, and this is Your Health at a Glance. Our health depends on the choices we make every day, and few conditions are as dependent on our choices as diabetes. So here is your daily diabetic checklist. Number 1, take your diet seriously every day. Eat lean protein and leafy vegetables. Number 2, sugars and starches raise blood glucose, so reduce them in your diet. Number 3, check your blood glucose and record the readings every day. Number 4, take your medication daily and don't skip. And number 5, try to exercise every day. It will help you take off weight, which will help your body regulate blood sugar better. If you are diabetic, this is your quick daily checklist that could make life better. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Dr. Richard Becker. Vitamin D deficiency is at epidemic levels in the United States. Chances are you aren't getting enough of this essential nutrient. Vitamin D is one of the most important molecules in the human body. It's required for the proper function of nearly 4,000 genes and 1,000 metabolic chemical reactions.
Bioinnovations brings you Dr. Becker's Bionutrients Vitamin D3. Now, supplementing with vitamin D is safe and affordable.
Studies show that vitamin D deficiency can lead to poor immune function, depression, cardiovascular disease, bone disease, diabetes, cancer, and much more. Starting supplementing vitamin D today for better health tomorrow.
Bioinnovations is the affordable source that you can trust for all your vitamin and supplement needs. So give us a call at 888-442-2128. That's 888-442-2128. Or order online at bioinnovations.net.
We're back, everyone. It's so great to be with you today. Today's show's going to be a good one. It's going to be one you're going to want to get a copy of, to take notes. We're going to be learning all about vitamin B12. This is nature's most beautiful ruby red vitamin. We're going to be talking about 12 reasons you should be supplementing with B12. Richard, what is B12 anyway?
Well, it is nature's most beautiful vitamin. It has a beautiful ruby red color. It is the most complex chemical structured vitamin of all, and it's the only vitamin that has a mineral at its core, cobalt. And B12 is so very important for all of our body functions. And it's very common for people with age to lose their B12 levels in their bloodstream and become anemic from low B12 levels. And it leads to fatigue, loss of immune strength, and mental depression, confusion, mental symptoms. And if we let it go too long, it can cause permanent damage. And this is far more common than people think. So, since there are no side effects to B12, and since B12 helps to preserve brain mass as we age, it's a good idea for everyone, especially those of us with multiple health conditions, to add a little B12 to our diet. So that's the overview. It's important to know some details about B12, and it's a fascinating vitamin. You know, only bacteria can make vitamin B12. No plant, no animal ever tested can make B12, only bacteria. And the bacteria that makes it the best, can you guess it? Lactobacillus. It's the probiotic bacteria. I find that fascinating. Only bacteria can make B12. And they make a form of B12 called hydroxycobalamin. But that has to be converted to methylcobalamin before it becomes active. And it is interesting to know, if we take cyanocobalamin as a dietary supplement, cyanide has to be released before it turns into the methylcobalamin active agent. Now, I think commercial websites have made much more of this than it actually is, because there's no record of anyone dying of cyanide poisoning from taking cyanocobalamin. But the premium B12 products, the better ones, are methylcobalamin, so there's no risk of any cyanide release whatsoever. Plus, probably the better reason for taking methylcobalamin is that you do not have to rely on any enzyme system to convert it into the active version. The methylcobalamin is the active. It's what's going to do its job for you. And if you have a problem with that enzyme, taking the other type, you won't get optimal function. 80% of our B12 is stored in the liver. The rest is stored in muscle tissue and organ tissue. And this is an important point that we'll return to in a minute. In 1934, Dr. William Murphy won a Nobel Prize in medicine for studying pernicious anemia and the role of vitamin B12 in blood production. I looked at a picture of him just this morning as I was preparing. He had a very kind face, and I can imagine this brilliant doctor, the eureka moment when he figured this all out, and we just thank God for his inspired work. He is a product of Wisconsin, so go Badgers. Good job. The body can store up to 5 years of B12, unique among the water-soluble vitamins, and this plays an important role in developing deficiencies. Get this. Vegans and vegetarians are susceptible to B12 deficiency because, remember, no plant can make B12. Let's say they are a meat eater and they attain a good saturation of their body with B12, but they encounter some health problems, and so they decide to go on a vegan diet, which is fine as long as you know some things. But this poor unfortunate soul does not supplement B12. As they go about their life in the vegan way of life, they begin to feel great, because a vegan diet can really detoxify and clean you out and do wonders for you. But they do not supplement B12. Around year 3, they begin to become tired. Year 4, they are struggling. And they think, you know, I had 3 great years on a vegan diet. It couldn't possibly be my diet. It couldn't possibly be that I'm nutrient deficient, but actually it is. Because it can take 3 to 5 years to burn up your B12 stores if you have no B12 in your diet. It's very important to understand this, because it can lead you to making false assumptions. If you want to practice a vegan diet, please supplement your B12 or you will deplete them and you will become confused and not know what to do to fix the problem. I hope am I making sense on that? Because it's an important point to know about B12. We store a lot of this stuff, and that's unique for the water-soluble vitamins. The B vitamins, a few days, they're gone. Vitamin C, a few hours, almost. It's gone. So vitamin B12 unique in how it stores. People ages 60 and older, at least 20 to 42% are deficient. It can be either because you don't absorb it properly or you're not getting enough of it in your diet, or certain health conditions require that you need more. 20 to 42% of seniors are low in B12. Normal processing of B12 requires good stomach acid suppression. If you're low in stomach acid, you do not break it loose from the meat from your foods in your diet. It saturates the meats, remember. Stomach acid releases it. The stomach makes intrinsic factor, which grabs that B12. Further down the stomach, that complex of B12 and intrinsic factor hits a receptor that grabs it and pulls it in. If there's any problem throughout that mechanism, you develop what's called pernicious anemia. Pernicious anemia is one where you make antibodies to the parietal cells of your stomach and you no longer make adequate intrinsic factor. You cannot absorb B12. That is pernicious anemia. You can have low vitamin B12 but no pernicious anemia just because there's no B12 in your diet. The different ways you can get in trouble with B12. So it has always been assumed in pernicious anemia that you must take shots of B12, injections of B12 to get adequate B12 levels because you can't absorb it. And that's not a bad idea. It assures a proper B12 level. But recent research, and it's been repeated and confirmed, now shows that oral, sublingual, letting the tablet dissolve or the drops sit in your mouth for a while, it absorbs the B12 into your system. Also, they've also been able to prove taking higher doses of B12 orally, it diffuses. By osmotic pressure, it diffuses into cells independent of the intrinsic factor absorption mechanism. So we can support the blood level of B12 with oral administration of B12 in pernicious anemia. And the other types, of course, let's say that you don't have pernicious and you absorb it just fine, you're just not getting enough. You can take a pill of it and your body will quickly absorb it in and you'll be good. You have to take higher doses of it, but since there's never been a dose-related side effect of B12, it's okay to take higher doses and it's cheap to take. Now, let's go to our break. When we return, we're going to talk about the 12 reasons why we need to supplement B12. See, our B12 has the most complex function of any nutrient. I think vitamin D is a close second, but we can have more than 12 reasons, but we're going to stick with 12 reasons why you should consider B12 when we return. You may have heard the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's true. I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
And I'm Cindy Becker. Autumn is a time of transition. It's the perfect time to renew your dedication to healthy living. This September, we're excited to bring you our fall savings celebration here at Bioinnovations.
Perhaps you've heard about the health benefits of supplements. In many cases, they can make a big difference.
During September, Dr. Becker Spa nutrients are up to 40% off. Noni Natural Skincare and Spa Therapy are 40% off. And Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still 50% off by the case. And you get free shipping with orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
This is a good time to restart a program of nutrition, exercise, and supplements because an ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure.
Order online or call 888-442-2128 and let Bioinnovations assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Richard Becker for Your Health at a Glance. High cholesterol raises your risk for cardiovascular disease, but it's just one risk factor among many. And the need to lower your cholesterol can be over-exaggerated. Everywhere in the media we see advertisements for cholesterol-lowering prescription drugs. It's a big business. Now, cardiovascular disease kills more Americans than any other disease, so we need to pay attention to all the risk factors for heart disease. Here's a prevention strategy. Besides lowering your cholesterol, treat high blood pressure. Stop all tobacco, manage diabetes, exercise regularly to stay fit, avoid sugar, eat fish and fresh fruits and vegetables. Take your daily vitamin and use omega-3 oils. Address all your risk factors, not just your cholesterol. For your health at a glance, I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
Are you one of the 62 million Americans suffering from gastrointestinal problems? Do you struggle with other chronic conditions? That's why we offer Dr. Becker's Bionutrient Probiotics.
After years of research, we developed a revolutionary probiotic formula with gastro-defense technology. This system protects the good bacteria from stomach acid so the probiotics reach the intestines where they go to work. Additionally, we use live count technology to prolong the shelf life of the probiotics, so there's no need for refrigeration.
Dr. Becker's Bionutrient Probiotics is a powerful combination and one of the most effective formulas available today. And we offer a children's chewable formula too, both at prices you can afford.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. That number's 888-442-2128.
We're back, everyone, discussing today the 12 reasons why we should all be supplementing with vitamin B12. So, Richard, let's go through the first one.
The first reason is no animal or plant can make B12, only bacteria. And so this makes it hard in many cases to get enough in our diet alone. And it's important to understand this. Any problem in this mechanism of absorption, any altered bowel flora, any unique or divergent dietary patterns can affect this substance. And we're talking microgram doses of B12, very tiny amounts. So it's not hard to imagine any problem in this area can really lead to troubles. So no plant, no animal, only bacteria can make it. That's a basic rule. The foods that contain B12 are not conducive to the diets of vegetarians, vegans, and many seniors. B12 is found in its highest level in the liver of beef and other meats. As we get older, it becomes harder and harder to chew meats, doesn't it? Also, the foods that contain the highest amount of B12 are the most expensive foods at the grocery store. If our budget is tight, those are the ones we leave off. What are the foods with high levels of B12? Well, all meats have, and it doesn't matter what type of meat, whether it's a white meat, a dark meat, a fowl, chicken, a red meat, fish, whatever. But your trout is notably high in B12, liver, especially beef liver, any type of beef. And for the vegetarians who do eat eggs and dairy products, that's good. It has B12 as well. Eggs have B, especially in the yolk. The yolk is where, and you know, so many people are cutting the yolk out of the egg nowadays. They want that low cholesterol. I suppose there's a legitimate reason for some to do that, but the yolk is where the nutrients are, all the vitamins. The white of the egg is, of course, protein, and it's good protein. It'll give you good protein. But you need those B vitamins that are in the yolk as well, and that's where the B12 is. Oysters, scallops, clams, yogurt, it's a dairy product, plus it has the probiotic lactobacillus in the yogurt, so that's a good source of B12. And of course, any food that is fortified, like our breakfast cereals. I really wonder the state of nutrition in America if our breakfast cereals were not fortified with at least a vitamin pill. You know, that's basically all they do is they make the cereal and toss a vitamin pill into the recipe, and now you have fortified foods. That keeps a lot of people out of trouble, but it's not enough if you're susceptible to low B12 levels. Next reason, number 3, nervous system support. Do you have a health problem that involves the nervous system? Symptoms of B12 deficiency are easily confused with many diseases. B12 helps to maintain a healthy spinal cord and nerve cells. Deficiencies in B12 mimic common nerve-related problems. Diabetic. Are your legs tingling? The doctor says, well, you're a diabetic, you know, diabetic neuropathy is common in diabetics, and it is. But perhaps your real problem is that you're low in B12 because you may have tingling in your lower extremities, loss of strength, poor balance, and falls. All of this is related to B12 deficiency. It can cause a peripheral neuropathy that's very similar to diabetic neuropathy. It starts down at the feet, and as the anemia progresses, the low B12 progresses, it climbs up to the knees. And by the time it gets up into your whole body tingling, you are in deep trouble. You may have developed permanent damage to your nerves, and we don't want that to happen. Part of what we're talking about today is public education, public warning, so you know when to go and say, I think I'm low in B12. Check my blood, I want to know. So, B12 deficiency creates symptoms that mimic common nerve and brain disorders, spinal cord problems, gait abnormalities. Someone who's low in B12 shuffles their gait. They don't pick their feet up and walk with a fluid ambulation. You get the idea? They keep their feet on the ground and they shuffle because their coordination's off. It's hard for them to keep their balance. This is advanced B12 deficiency. If you know someone who's doing this, please get their blood checked for B12 because, again, it can go to the point where it's irreversible. We want to catch this early when we can completely reverse it. Ringing in the ears, tinnitus, extremity tingling, common in neurologic diseases. If you have Parkinson's, we find that you're more likely to be B12 deficient. Alzheimer's, you're more likely to be a little B12 deficient because these conditions, the neurodegenerative diseases, affect our appetite. It affects our ability to chew and swallow and process. You know, our nervous system controls everything. And as those diseases progress, everything's affected, including our ability to process B12. Now, does B12 cure Parkinson's? Does it cure Alzheimer's? No. But it can relieve some suffering. And that is a blessing in and of itself. So remember, number 3, B12 deficiency mimics common neurologic conditions. Next, number 4, B12 plays a role in state of mind and mental function. Depression, dementia, poor concentration, poor balance, coordinating, confusion, forgetfulness. Your primary symptom of B12 deficiency may be, I'm low in energy and boy am I ever blue. And what do American doctors do? Well, you need an antidepressant. This will perk you right up. All the while, we're not treating our depression, our true reason for our depression. We're treating depression when we should be treating deficiency, and it can become permanent. There was a study done at Oxford. They gave high levels of B12, 1,800 micrograms, which is 300 times the minimum daily requirement, but it's not toxic. They gave higher levels of B12, higher levels of B6, higher levels of folic acid, and they did that every day for 2 years. They did it for 2 years. And what they found was the people who took the higher level of B vitamins, including B12, had 50% less brain shrinkage. A shrinking brain is a dementing brain. As a classic feature of dementia is a smaller, shrinking brain. Preserve brain mass, reduce your risk of dementia. This study has been repeated multiple times. B vitamins, including B12, helps to preserve brain mass and brain power. I want to make it as simple and clear as possible. So how could you replicate that? Well, if you take 2 of those B12 lozenges every day, I do that every day. I do it. If you take 2 B complexes, which would be like a B complex 50 every day, and you took some folic acid, which is in that B complex, you would closely match the Oxford study dose. Now, that study has been repeated 2 times now, so we have 3 studies that confirm higher B vitamin intake preserves brain mass. Now, what else could you do to complement that B vitamin B12 cocktail? How about some vitamin D? How about some fish oil? How about exercise to stimulate new brain cell growth? How about socialization and mental challenges like game playing and hobbies that really challenge our brain, or interacting with people, because people can really be a challenge, can't they? This is good for our brain. You do this type of thing with good healthy nutrition and exercise, you're going to be strong. You're going to be strong mentally. 85 and you're still balancing your own checkbook. This can happen for us, but you have to plan ahead. You have to eat healthy and do these things. We can make a big difference. Don't forget about children. You know, children can become, mother gives baby about 2 to 3 years of B12. Remember, we saturate our bodies with B12. If the child is not getting enough B12, they can be toddlers before they develop the anemia. All of a sudden, these problems happen, and people, well, I don't understand. We've been doing the same thing since the baby was born. All along, it's a B12 deficiency. That's not common, but it can happen. Boy, we want the kids to have every chance possible, don't we? Keep that in mind with B12. Well, we're headed to a break here, but we have reason number 5 next, energy production. Are you tired? Could be B12. You may have heard the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's true. I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
And I'm Cindy Becker. Autumn is a time of transition. It's the perfect time to renew your dedication to healthy living. This September, we're excited to bring you our fall savings celebration here at Bioinnovations.
Perhaps you've heard about the health benefits of supplements. In many cases, they can make a big difference.
During September, Dr. Becker Spa nutrients are up to 40% off. Noni Natural Skincare and Spa Therapy are 40% off. And Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still 50% off by the case. And you get free shipping with orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
This is a good time to restart a program of nutrition, exercise, and supplements because an ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure.
Order online or call 888-442-2128 and let Bioinnovations assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings. I'm Cindy Becker, and this is Your Health at a Glance. Heavy metal poisoning is a growing concern, and it may play a role in your health. It can happen through occupational exposure or environmental pollution, or both. If you work in a metal shop, a smelting plant, or any type of facility that uses electroplating or welding, you may be suffering from heavy metal exposure. But those of us who live in cities may suffer from heavy metal exposure through environmental pollution. It's the #1 cause of heavy metal poisoning. It can occur over a long period of exposure, or it can happen after a single dose. Symptoms can be overlooked because they're symptoms of common diseases such as fatigue, memory loss, tremor, joint pain, and indigestion. These are common symptoms of heavy metal poisoning. If your health is declining and you haven't been able to figure out the underlying cause, discuss heavy metal poisoning with your doctor. For Your Health at a Glance, I'm Cindy Becker.
For thousands of years, Eastern health practitioners have used mushrooms for a variety of treatments.
And recently, scientists everywhere in the world have turned to mushrooms in search of health-promoting compounds.
These are known as medicinal mushrooms. Among some of the most potent are ABM, maitake, reishi, shiitake, and cordyceps sinensis.
At Bioinnovations, we've made available 4 of the most powerful mushrooms in one easy-to-use formula. We call it the Mushroom Complex. We also offer the amazing mushroom Cordyceps sinensis in a standalone formula.
Cordyceps helps boost energy, an amazing discovery now used in both Eastern and Western medicine. So take advantage of thousands of years of health knowledge.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
We're back, everyone. Just want to let you know it is Special Savings Month at Bioinnovations the entire month long. Great time to get what you need to stay healthy, good prices, and free shipping on orders over $50. Of course, that's in the mainland USA. But we have really worked out some good deals with Hawaii and Alaska. So if you live in those areas and you want to take advantage of the sale, by all means, call us. We can help you out with good prices for the shipping. Well, we're talking about vitamin B12, the 12 reasons we should all supplement with B12. I know I feel a lot better once I started. Since I was vegetarian most of my life, I really didn't realize how low in B12 I was. But Richard's right.
It really makes a difference. Now we're down to reason number 5, Richard.
Energy production.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and of course, B12 is intimately involved in making blood. So if we have poor, weak, anemic blood, we're not sending oxygen to tissues. Not enough oxygen, we're not making enough energy. And this is the most common early symptom of vitamin B12 deficiency or anemia from it. See, you can be ingesting enough B12, so that's not a deficiency, but you're not absorbing it. So it all ends up the same. You end up with an anemia, and it has a profound effect on energy. I remember back in practice, we had a whole group of seniors. They'd come in every month or every other month and take their B12 shot. And oh, I'm tired, doc. Give me. I want to go see the grandkids. I need a B12 so I can have fun with the grandkids. Well, we now know that the majority of those people, if they take the little pill every day, they don't need to take the shots. They can keep that level up all the time and feel good all the time. So B12 plays a vital role in energy. And you know, folks, think about this for a minute. If your energy level is better, your quality of life is better. Your health is going to be better because you can go get your exercise. You can do the fun things you like to do on your day off. You know, if you're in a place where all the energy you have is to fulfill the 40-hour work week, and then you're just, you could be low in B12. And we'll talk about what qualifies for low in a minute. But remember, energy, that's the most common early symptom of B12 deficiency or low B12 levels. Next, proper intestinal function requires adequate B12. And this is a real problem area because I think every third American is on an acid-suppressing drug. It's imperative for B12 absorption to have proper acidity in your stomach. But everyone's got heartburn now, and they're taking a proton pump inhibitor, an antacid, an H2 antagonist, you know, something to lower the acid level. Well, the problem really isn't too much acid, but it helps to control heartburn, GERD, gastritis, and ulcer disease. Over time, these medicines will so deplete your B12 level that you can become anemic, just because you've gotten into the habit of taking a proton pump inhibitor every day. And keep in mind, the proton pump inhibitors, particularly, there's a dependency factor. About half the people who take them over time, if they tried to stop them, their suppressed acid rebounds to extraordinarily high levels. And what it does to the patient, they say, oh, I've got to have that stuff. I'm miserable without that proton pump. Prilosec, Nexium. You know, this is information the drug companies have released to us. They know all about this, and you should know about it too. I've got to have that stuff. Well, you've grown dependent on it. If you can endure it, do this. Reduce your dose. Take time to come off it so your body can adjust and adapt. It's a complex process making body acid, stomach acid, and you have to reset to neutral. And then you won't have that rebound, and you might find with 20-pound weight loss, you don't need the stuff at all anyway. See? How many people in America, the most popular drugs in America, the Nexium and Prilosec, you know what I'm talking about, the purple pill, and it brings relief, and I want you to have relief. But don't stay on them for months and years at a time. You're going to deplete your magnesium, your B12, you're going to cause intestinal dysbiosis, you'll alter your lactobacillus. It also affects your B12. Also, when we're low in B12, it causes irritable bowel type symptoms. Remember, this nutrient is involved in multiple body processes. It maintains the integrity of our DNA and our RNA. So if that's off, our code of wellness is disturbed, and you'll get gastric upset, you'll get irritable bowel-like symptoms, you'll get yeast and small intestine overgrowth. It's just a mess. So proper intestinal function requires B12. Acid-suppressing drugs suppress your ability to absorb B12. Deficiencies of B12 cause burning of the tongue and the mouth, glossitis. Now imagine this scenario. Grandmother has a burning mouth. Oh, I can't have any beefsteak tonight. No, I love it, so I just can't chew it. Well, how is she going to get her B12? From the beefsteak or a pill, but the mouth burns. So she further perpetuates her B12 deficiency because the mouth hurts. Glossitis, burning mouth, is a classic sign of all the B12 deficiencies. And today we're talking about B12, of course. Weight loss, loss of appetite, abnormal overgrowth of intestinal bacteria. High alcohol consumption affects the intestinal tract and the ability to absorb acid-suppressing medicines, chronic diseases of the intestinal tract, inflammatory bowel disease like Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, even celiac disease can affect our ability to absorb this B12 and lead to B12 deficiency and complicate the whole scenario. Well, I'm treating my celiac disease, but I'm not getting better. I still just feel terrible. You're low in B12. This is why I always recommend to celiac patients, eliminate the gluten, but let's get you on a good supplement program to restore all your nutrients, including B12. Let's go to our break, but when we talk, as soon as we return, we're going to talk about cell integrity. If we have poor cellular integrity, it increases our risk of cancer. Prevent cancer, abnormal cell growth with B12. We'll be right back. You may have heard the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's true. I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
And I'm Cindy Becker. Autumn is a time of transition. It's the perfect time to renew your dedication to healthy living. This September, we're excited to bring you our fall savings celebration here at Bioinnovations.
Perhaps you've heard about the health benefits of supplements. In many cases, they can make a big difference.
During September, Dr. Becker Spa nutrients are up to 40% off. Noni Natural Skincare and Spa Therapy are 40% off. And Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still 50% off by the case. And you get free shipping with orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
This is a good time to restart a program of nutrition, exercise, and supplements because an ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure.
Order online or call 888-442-2128 and let Bioinnovations assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
Here is our hope for you today. I'm Cindy Becker. Do you feel that you'll never really be joyful and happy in your life? The Reverend Billy Graham wrote about these two emotions, joy and happiness. Dr. Graham says, joy is not the same as happiness, although they may overlap. Happiness depends on circumstances. Joy depends on God. In Psalm 30, David, whose life seemed an endless battle, experienced joy despite his problems as king of Israel. David wrote, "You turned my wailing into dancing. You removed my sackcloth and clothed me with joy, that my heart may sing to you and not be silent." If you are struggling to find joy in your life, pray to God. Count your blessings. Joy depends on God. I'm Cindy Becker. This is our hope for you today.
Is your life out of balance? It may be. The average American consumes far too many omega-6s and not enough omega-3s. This creates an imbalance.
So what can we do to get back in balance? We can eat a healthy diet.
And most of us need to supplement with omega-3 rich fish oil. Fish oil contains omega-3s with DHA and EPA, fatty acids that promote good brain and heart health. So reduce omega-6 in your nutritional plan and boost omega-3 to get back in balance.
To help you do that, Bioinnovations offers two products, the Fish Oil Complex and Omega-369, both formulated for your health and well-being. So how do you choose? For highest levels of DHA and EPA, choose the Fish Oil Complex. For a balanced formula, choose the 369.
Go online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128. Ask about the AutoShip program for additional savings.
We're back, everyone. Just a real quick reminder, it is Special Savings Month at Bioinnovations the entire month. Great prices, best prices of the season, and free shipping on orders over $50. Of course, that's the mainland USA, so don't miss it. We're talking about the 12 reasons we should all supplement with vitamin B12. We're ready for number 7. Okay,
yes.
Richard.
Well, B12 is used to create a cellular integrity. It's used to maintain healthy bone marrow production of red blood cells, and this really is what gives us a strong constitution. It allows us to fight off illnesses and to work efficiently without undue fatigue. Also remember, B12 maintains our DNA and RNA integrity, and that is our code for wellness. If that becomes aberrant, it leads to all kinds of problems, and I just think of it as you can't heal. You can't maintain normal function, and when your disease strikes, your healing is compromised. It's all related to B12. See how complex this vitamin is? But we don't have to think of it that way. Think of it in simple terms. Our fatty acid synthesis and the cell membrane integrity, this plays to body inflammation. When our membranes are proper, things are stable, and we're uninflamed. Inflammation leads to pain. Pain, suffering, and disease. B12 helps to calm that. Regeneration of the bone marrow, blood production. A drop in blood production and an enlargement of red blood cells, macrocytic blood cells, that's the first sign of B12 deficiency, typically. The first symptom is fatigue. The first sign is enlarged cells. Okay. Next, we have vital for hormonal health. What programs our hormones? It's our DNA. And so it is very common, for example, menopausal years for a woman to be low in B12 to have a very difficult menopause. You know, nature provides us with a way to transition through menopause, ladies, but if your B12 is low, that is going to be very difficult. Another example of that is infertile couples trying to have a family, but it's just not happening. You're not going to conceive if you're low in B12. Pregnant and lactating mothers are known to be low in B12. Get a little extra. Breast cancer patients are also known to be low in B12. Next, number 9, vitamin B12 plays a significant role in the conversion of homocysteine in heart disease. Normally, we recycle this homocysteine out of our bodies, and it does not do its oxidative free radical damage to our blood vessels. If you're low in B12 or folic acid. Folic acid is the supplement form. Folate is what's in our body. If you're low in either one of these, your homocysteine level will be high. You may have to have the methyl tetrahydrofolate form of folic acid, or MTHF, methyl tetrahydrofolate. That avoids, see, our body has to convert folic acid into a downstream version of folate. So if your enzyme is compromised in any way, you're not going to do that well, and you tend to accumulate homocysteine. We don't want that. It increases your risk of dementia and heart disease significantly. B12, B vitamins, including MTHF, will help to prevent that. That's a valid reason. Heart disease, dementia, who wants it? Next, our B12 levels are often depleted by the very medicines we take. Medications that affect B12 all seem to lower B12, not raise it. This is the true pattern. Tends to lower B12, not raise it. There are no reports of B12 overdose or side effects. Doses up to 500 times the daily recommended are well tolerated. I wouldn't do that every day. Why would you need it? Don't do it. But taking a big shot of B12 never hurt anybody. I mean a cc or 2, typical, 5,000, 10,000 micrograms of it. You're not going to have a problem with that. No problem at all. And that, with that high boost dose, it helps to saturate your muscles and organs and tissues, so you have a reserve. There's a point to do that. We're not just taking more for the fun of it. There's a point. We want to saturate those tissues again. Now let's talk about, name the list of medicines. These are some of them, not all of them. Any of the acid-suppressing heartburn medicines can do it. Bile acid sequestering, like Questran or Colestat, can lower B12. Colchicine, the gout drug. Diabetes drug metformin. That's the second most common drug in America, metformin. And it depletes B12. If you're on metformin, please take a little B12. Some antibiotics, fortunately we don't take them long-term unless you have tuberculosis or acne. That can deplete your B12. Antihistamines, methotrexate for arthritis, methyldopa, which is a blood pressure medicine, oral contraceptives, we take those long-term so it can deplete B12. Some of the Parkinson's medicine, levodopa to be in particular. If you have Parkinson's, please take a little extra B12. Phenobarbital, primidone, phenytoin, seizure control medicines. Vitamin D it depletes, and B12 both, and B6. Antipsychotic medicine like Thorazine or Haldol. Sulfonamides, antibiotic. Antiretroviral drugs for HIV deplete B12, and nitrous oxide if you have to do a a week of dental work where you're going for multiple sets is enough to cause a profound B12 deficiency. If you're going into the dentist and you use nitrous to help to control the discomforts, supplement the B12, please. Deficiencies are often missed by the medical establishment. This one is one of the most important. You may require for you to be normal to have high levels of B12. When you go to the doctor feeling punky and tired, your level is in the lower half. That's abnormal for you, but normal for Mary. The doctor sees, oh, that's normal range, no problem. You truly are low in B12. B12 would help you, but it's not being identified. So we do other tests. We do the red blood cell size, B12 level, and we also do methylmalonic acid and homocysteine levels. When you approach it this way, you will get 98% of the B12 deficiencies. I want to repeat those words because they're important. Methylmalonic acid, MMA, homocysteine, CBC, B12 level, and red blood cell size. That's part of the CBC. You approach it this way, and you can also do the methylmalonic in the bloodstream and in the urine. And that ratio really tells you with high degree of accuracy. The point I want you as lay people to understand is you can be really low in B12, but it shows normal in your blood test. And there are several serious health conditions that falsely raise B12 levels. Some of the cancers and whatnot can do that. And so it can be missed. It shows normal, but you're not. And I just want to plant the seed that one test for B12 deficiency is not enough. The way your body feels is the most important sign. So now, let's go to our break, and when we return, let's talk about dosage. What's good for B12 supplementation? We'll have that when we return. You may have heard the saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's true. I'm Dr. Richard Becker.
And I'm Cindy Becker. Autumn is a time of transition. It's the perfect time to renew your dedication to healthy living. This September, we're excited to bring you our fall savings celebration here at Bioinnovations.
Perhaps you've heard about the health benefits of supplements. In many cases, they can make a big difference.
During September, Dr. Becker Spa nutrients are up to 40% off. Noni Natural Skincare and Spa Therapy are 40% off. And Aloha, Noni, and Acai are still 50% off by the case. And you get free shipping with orders over $50 in the continental U.S.
This is a good time to restart a program of nutrition, exercise, and supplements because an ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure.
Order online or call 888-442-2128 and let Bioinnovations assist you in making the right choices for better health. Ask about the auto-ship program for additional savings.
I'm Dr. Richard Becker for your health at a glance. Are you looking for a way to lower your risk of Alzheimer's? As the prevalence of obesity and metabolic syndrome continue to increase, researchers have found a possible link between type 2 diabetes and the onset of Alzheimer's disease. In fact, type 2 diabetics are at 200% higher risk of Alzheimer's compared to people without diabetes. These metabolic changes that develop with diabetes appears to greatly increase the speed of deterioration of the brain and other related systems. Lowering your blood glucose is easier than you may think. Eat smaller meals, exercise regularly, and reduce carbohydrates in your diet, especially simple sugars. Taking steps today to control your blood glucose may protect your entire body, including your brain. For your health at a glance, I'm Dr. Richard Becker. Different people have different vitamin and mineral needs. That's why Dr. Becker's Bionutrients multiple vitamin and mineral powders come in 4 different blends.
That's right. When it comes to vitamins, no one formula is right for everyone. For those who don't get enough vegetables in their diet, there's the Organic Green Blend with 3 servings of vegetables in every tablespoon.
And for those looking for a boost of fruit and berry phytonutrients, there's the Berry Blend with 3 servings of fruit in every tablespoon.
And don't forget the Active Adult Blend with extra B vitamins, calcium, and added cofactors like ginkgo and CoQ10.
Plus, we've designed a multiple for those with allergies called the Low Allergy Rice Blend.
Whatever your unique needs are, Bionutrients has a multiple vitamin that's just right for you.
Order online at bioinnovations.net or call 888-442-2128 and let us assist you in making the right choices for better health. Your Health is brought to you by Bioinnovations, trusted products for your health and well-being.
We're back, everyone. Quick reminder, it is Special Savings Month at Bioinnovations. Don't miss it. Be sure you order early to get what you need. So, Richard, we've established that we all need to supplement with vitamin B12.
I think it's, especially as we get older.
We sure do.
Yeah.
So tell us the best way to do that.
Well, if you have pernicious anemia, you know, where you can't absorb the B12, I think it's a good idea to start with a shot or two and then start supplementing orally, the sublingual or the drops, and then go back to the doctor and see if it's effective. You may find that you decrease your need for shots. Maybe you go from a shot every month to one every 2 months or every 3 months. That, in my mind, is worth doing. I think most people will find that to be true. Some will require a shot every month to maintain their B12 level, and that's better than the alternative. Believe me, you don't want to be long-term low in B12. So if you want to try the B12 sublingual, and this is very helpful for people with no history of pernicious anemia, they want to maintain that higher level of B12 to preserve the brain function. Take 1 or 2 of the sublingual B12 tablets. What that contains, 1 tablet, 300 micrograms of B12, that's 3 milligrams. It's really a small dose, but it's a relatively large dose of B12 because our daily requirement is tiny for B12. That provides 300 micrograms and 400 micrograms of folic acid. It also provides about 50 milligrams of vitamin C, and what that does, it helps to improve the absorption in this process. You know, that's how vitamins work. They depend on each other to help each other. And taking that full supplemental package like that improves B12 absorption. So B12, 300 micrograms, 400 micrograms of folic acid, and the 500 milligrams of vitamin C. That's what's in the sublingual. If you want to match the Oxford study that showed we can preserve brain mass, add B-complex 50 to it. B-complex 50, and you're there. Now, you can use our powdered multiple vitamins. That has a B-complex 25 in the mix. Okay? You get the idea? Now, if you want to learn more about B12, how it presents in deficiency, how to treat it, and some fascinating case studies, Sally Pachulak, she's an RN, and her husband, Jeffrey Stewart, he's an osteopath like I am. They wrote a tremendous book, and this is appropriate for patients, doctors, nurses alike. It's really a good book, and I just want to make this statement. Do not assume, if you are susceptible to B12 deficiency, that your doctor knows all he needs to know about B12 deficiency. You're putting a lot of faith in someone who will not suffer the consequences of their ignorance. You will. It's easy to correct this condition. It's easy to prevent problems. And with the knowledge now that a pill can replace the shot for a lot of people, boy, I'm all in. I'm all in on this one. Keeps the brain strong, keeps the mass up, keeps us going well into our senior years. Thank you for your kind attention. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Live a Healthy Life, presented by Christian Fitness.
This perfect little portable snack is great tasting, energy boosting, and full of fiber and free of fat.
The incredible antioxidants in this little guy help fight bad cholesterol and strengthen your bones.
The skin of the apple contains 78% of nutrients, so be sure and eat the skin.
God's perfect nutritional snack, the apple. Eat one today.
And every day.
This Healthy Life tip was brought to you by Christian Fitness.
You are invited to join Pastor Salem on the Christian Worship Hour, a weekly program that has been proclaiming the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ for over 35 years. We believe the Bible is the only Word of God and that Jesus